That's right. We are back. It's Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It's the interview series. You know it. 8 years now. You've been following us and liking and commenting, and we love you for it. We bring you industry experts from all over the world. They help improve your personal life or grow your business. Today, we're going to have a little fun. He says he's funny, so we'll see. We have Joel here today. He creates energy. Well, we love a little energy. He's a dynamic speaker, if he doesn't say so himself. And he's a work culture expert. So that work culture is pretty important. And he's got me saying improvisational humorist first thing today, and author. His new book coming out is Make the Right Choice. Well, there's something I've said to a couple of my kids before. Lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash fun at work. Fun at work. I have nothing but fun at work. So I'm all about that. So we're good. So welcome, Joel.
Thank you, Jessica. I wasn't expecting that energy from the introduction. That might have been the best podcast energized introduction I've ever received. I mean, you were popping through the screen. I love it. I got to bring my energy up now.
That's right. You better catch up with me.
I know. I was not expecting that.
All right. Work culture expert. Tell us what led you to find this. I mean, I know you weren't playing capture the flag on the hill or flashlight tag in your early elementary school days and stopped when someone said, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Joel?" It wasn't firefighter or policeman or, dancer on Broadway. It was, that work culture expert. That's what I'm thinking I need. Well, where did this come from?
I like that your three occupations, the three choices were firefighter, policeman, or Broadway dancer. Those are the three.
All out there these days. That's right.
Those are the three choices. So I was a journalist. I was a newspaper reporter, and in high school I did
Clark Kent. Did you have the
I was just like Clark Kent.
Yeah. In the phone booth, that cape is problematic.
and Clark and I are both from Kansas. So
there you go.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was a journalism major, and I started working for newspapers. And so that's how I started my career. I was working in Dallas. I moved to Dallas.
Did you get a big hat?
I did not. I did not get a hat.
Boots? Did you at least get boots?
No, did not get boots, a hat, a horse, or cattle.
I apologize to all you in Dallas. I'm sorry. But go ahead.
Yeah, you pretty much lost whatever viewers are in Dallas. You lost them right there.
They just ran away.
Mm-hmm. We do not like that cliche at all. At all. And so a friend took me to an improv comedy show the first weekend I was in town. And it literally it was the movies. It was like, and it was like there was a light on me, and animated birds were circling around me. It was it was my princess moment. And I thought, wow, this is what I want to do. And so I found a way. 6 months later, by the way, I lost my job because the newspaper closed. The other paper bought it, so I'm out of work. And that's a story. If you'd like to talk about that, we can talk about that in a minute. But I started doing stand-up, and then I started doing improv comedy because, Jessica, I had a lot of free time on my hands.
And there was a lot of money in that.
No, but I did have a severance check. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I took some workshops in improv, and just loved it. It was I had found my passion. And fast forward a couple years, I was working in PR and advertising. I worked for a couple agencies, and one of my clients was Texas Instruments, and they were having an executive retreat, and they said, "Hey, we know you do improv on the weekends. Can you come and play some of those games with us?" And my first reaction was not, "Yeah, let's do this." My first reaction was like, okay, this might be interesting. And I took another performer with me, and strangely, they had an awesome time. More importantly, I had an awesome time. And that's when the light bulb started flickering that maybe I could offer this to other clients. At that point, though, it was just about playing the improv games, having fun, maybe talking a little bit about creativity. But improv, the lessons of improv is about teamwork and passion and change and leadership and being in the moment and staying in the game. All these messages are about having a great work culture. And so that's where it all came together and it evolved. Beautiful. And now 2,500 events later, I'm on your podcast.
2,500? No way, get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the exact, it's more than that because I say I started in 97. The Texas Instruments event was before that. And I averaged 75 to 100 events a year. And so pretty easy to do the math.
Maybe all my Texans will stay with us because you're so awesome.
Oh, wow. I've already got the awesome label. Boom.
And there it is.
There it is. Boom. Good night, everybody.
All right, tell us the story. You promised stories. Tell us the story about the paper closing.
Do you want? Okay. Well, Jessica, involves a magic harmonica, which I do happen to have.
I love magic harmonicas. You know, the Smurfs used a magic flute, I think, but harmonica works.
Really? Not familiar with Smurf legend.
Hey, I like the Smurfs. Don't judge me.
All right. All right. I don't know. I skipped that cartoon. So I'm
younger than you. That's how come.
Yeah. I was working at the newspaper and they called on a Sunday and they said, come clean out your desk. The newspaper closed. I just moved there 6 months prior. So I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. I just moved there 6 months ago. I had a good job. I was working at a newspaper in Michigan, and the other newspaper bought it out. And you would think I would be angry or confused or disappointed, but it was really like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders because it was not the best job in the world. And so it was, I felt this weight had been lifted. And when I left to go clean out my desk, I grabbed this magic harmonica. Now, I don't really play the harmonica. I bought this in college at a lecture. I'm guessing it was a harmonica player that was selling harmonicas. I don't have that memory. So, but I had some cash in my pocket and my voice just went. Some cash in my pocket.
Changing. It's still changing. Yeah. I know.
It is. It's still changing. Some cash in my pocket. And so I grabbed this harmonica as I left, and this wasn't something I did often. I never did this. I never just grabbed my harmonica. So I went down to the newspaper.
Anything alive that has a copyright on it. So you have to make up music fresh. So that just so you know.
Yeah.
No high pop, high culture, top hits music.
Yeah.
None of that.
I was going to do some Taylor Swift harmonica. But I can't. But I can now. I can.
There's
so the viewers are out there. Yeah, the viewers are out there like, wait a minute, he promised Taylor Swift. I can't. Copyright, guys.
Yeah,
it's copyright.
Right. I mean, seriously.
So I was at the newspaper and everybody was, you see all these people, they're sad, they're upset, they just lost their job. Mm-hmm. And I went to the back loading dock and I don't know why. And that's where the media had gathered, other TV stations and radio stations and the other newspapers to cover the end of the newspaper. That was a big story. And so I picked out my harmonica, and this is what happened. And by the way, I'm tone deaf. I don't have any musical ability. But you can blow into a harmonica and sound somewhat like you know what you're doing. And I can do one blues note. Let's see if we can get it going today. There it goes. And so as I on the back loading dock, I picked out my magic harmonica, and this is what I did. I just lost my job. I got no money. I just moved to Dallas. They said, come clean out your desk. So I came with my harmonica. But I had no money. And now I have no job. But in the future, I will be on Jessica's podcast, Profound Professionals, to tell this story. Got a little spittle there.
There you go.
That's what happened. Hang on, let me wipe myself. And so the media, it was like the camera And people were surprised because you're not expecting someone who just lost their job to play the harmonica
Or sing a song.
or sing a song. No copyright. So I think we're clear. I don't have a copyright on that. Yeah, I don't have a copyright on that song.
I'm pretty sure I didn't hear any familiar tones.
I do need to record that though, and I need to drop a record on that one. So
I have a guy I could hook you up.
yeah, let's do that. The Losing Your Job Harmonica Blues. And so that night, 2 local TV stations kicked off their broadcasts with me playing the harmonica. There's a huge picture of me in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which is
I need to see that news video. Like I hope you saved it. Did you get it?
I have one on VHS. I haven't.
I tell you, if you figure out how to upload that to social media, you'll get more hits on that than anything else you've ever put up.
Probably.
I'm just going to tell you.
Probably. I need to find that. Yeah. Probably. I need to find that VHS, and I need to put
that on your to-do list right now. Like that. Yeah. It's moved up in priorities.
Yeah.
That's the kid that can nag you about it. Hey Joel, where's that video? Hey Joel, I need that video.
But it did teach me something because it taught me to choose how you react to change. Right. I didn't choose that I lost my job, but I chose how I reacted to it. You know, I could have been angry and disappointed, upset, but the magic harmonica taught me to be confident in my skills, to choose how I react, and I'm going to be energized. I'm going to be passionate. I'm going to be out there and take those chances and take those risks and put yourself out there. And it really taught me some really valuable lessons. And I know we're going to talk about the book later, but I talk about that, the magic harmonica, in a chapter of my new book.
I love that. Now talk to us more about your clients. So are you going as a keynote to one of their annual events? Are you coming and doing private workshops? Are you doing group workshops virtually? Is it all in person? What's happening and how are you serving? Give us a better description.
Sure. So I use improv in a keynote to talk about teamwork and change and passion and leadership, all the choices that improv taught me. And I started doing improv in the early 90s. And it taught me a lot of great choices in how we work together as a team and how we deal with change and how we are more present in the moment and stay in the game and communicate more effectively. And I took those messages and kind of filtered it through my experience and translated to the business audience. And so my keynotes are all the Fortune whatever companies. I've done 2,500 events. There's very few name companies that you could name that I have not worked with at one time or another. Walmart and McDonald's and KPMG and Samsung and T-Mobile and I can keep going. Whataburger and In-N-Out Burger and all the burgers. And so they bring me in and I use the improv and engage with the audience because we all want to laugh and play. Yeah. And through that laughter and play, we talk about these messages that improv taught me. And I wanted to share with the audience that I think would help them be more effective as a team member, a leader, a better communicator, a better innovator. And so we have a lot of fun, but we also learn about these choices. Mm-hmm. And then I have some clients that will bring me in to MC their event and to use that energy, and maybe it's an awards event or maybe it's a general session at a big conference. I'm going next week to Hawaii for a financial insurance client, which I'm emceeing their 3-day conference. So, so it's a mix.
We'll all just cry for you. You're going to Hawaii.
I am.
That's so tough.
I know. It's only my 3rd event speaking in Hawaii, and one time didn't really count because I was speaking to a group within the Army, and I was on a base, and it wasn't like it was a resort. I was like, I didn't have any toilet paper. And so
that might be too much information.
Yeah, I had to call someone. I'm like, there's no toilet paper in the officers' quarters here.
Officers are too tough to need that.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, in the future, I'm going to need some. So it wasn't like you envision an event in Hawaii.
I don't know that you get a guarantee that all the top 5-star resorts will provide you with toilet paper.
Yeah, not all of them do. Some of them it's BYOT, bring your own toilet paper. Yeah, TP, BYOTP. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's awesome. And so, do you do anything virtual? Do you do virtual
I
webinars,
do.
online courses,
I
training
do. I
programs?
do. I do. There was this pandemic. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
No, I say the world shifted.
yeah.
We don't give energy to the P or the C word. We just say
Oh,
the world shifted a bit, and here we are. Here we've landed.
all right. So yeah, I was doing a lot of virtual, and actually, I did one a couple weeks ago, and which was the first one I had done in a while, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, I try to keep the same energy, same fun. I try to do some interactive things with the audience. It's different than the improv keynote, but it's still engaging and fun and energizing.
Awesome. So, anything about your website you want to tell us now, or any free gifts you have, or anything else about just you before we move on and twist your arm and get a tip out of you?
Well, all the messages that I talk about, staying in the game, being more present in the moment, being open and flexible to change, how we ask the question, how do I help the people around me be successful? Answering that question and acting on it. The importance of creating opportunity and positive support. These are all the messages in my keynote that I use. We play an improv game, and then we talk about the choices, because I bring audience volunteers up to the stage and we play an improv game, and they crush. They're amazing. They're creative and they're fun. They work together as a team, and so they make all these choices, and then I highlight those choices in my keynote. And happy to talk about any of those with your audience in greater detail. But the website is joelzeff.com. Pretty easy to find me. And LinkedIn is my preferred social media, so you can just look me up on LinkedIn. And I think we're going to talk about the books in a moment and talk about tips. But yeah.
Okay. So now we need a tip. Give us something. Give us something good, something juicy, something secret, something powerful. I don't know.
It's a secret. My favorite message is staying in the game. And what that means is, in improv, you can do anything you want in the game. You can be loud, you can be quiet, you can make mistakes. And certainly I make mistakes when I jump on stage. You can do anything you want. You can be funny, not so funny. The only thing improv won't allow you to do, it won't allow you to quit. It won't allow you to quit the game. Once you quit the game falls apart. It's over. And that message, let's take that to our work lives. When we say staying in the game means, what do we want to do to reach our goal? And to stay in the game, you might have to learn something new. You might have to get out of your comfort zone. You might have to find a mentor. You might have to work harder. You might need more training. You have to do things to stay in the game. But what happens is you're fulfilled and rewarded. And that's what we all want more than anything. We want to be fulfilled. We want to be rewarded. And if things are easy, there's no reward. It's just, we did it, boom. But to stay in the game, that's something big. We know the time and energy that was spent to stay in the game. And it's fulfilling when we find that success. Because if you quit, boom, it's over. And I'm not saying quit your job, but we quit goals, initiatives, challenges because things are too hard, or we don't have the budget, we don't have the money, we don't want to learn something new. It's over. But to stay in the game, success is always going to be there. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but success is there. And if we make those choices, we're going to find that success. And those choices might be learn something new, get out of your comfort zone, get more training, work harder. It's stay late, do more, create a new idea. That success will be there. And that's the best message that staying in the game is the best message improv ever taught me. And it's the best message I could ever say from stage. It's the best message I could teach my kids, that you're going to have challenges, you're going to have obstacles, and to overcome them, you have to really think about the choice of staying in the game. What do you want to do to overcome that challenge? And that's my favorite message. And there's one more. I want to share one more. I'm going to give you a twofer. Do you have a Groupon? Well, buy one, get one free?
We do now. Joel Zeff. Joel Zeff.
I thought you had a Groupon. I can talk all day about teamwork and leadership, and I like to make things simple. One question. everyone who's listening, watching, can you ask this question today? How do I help the people around me be successful? That's an easy question. Mm-hmm. And we know the answer. You're smart. If you're paying attention, you know what people need to be successful. The hard part is to act on it. And that's what makes improv successful. Remember, there's no script, there's no rehearsal, there's no plan. So how do we find success? We're all thinking the same thing. How do I help my teammates find success? What do I need to do to set them up for them to bring it home? And you take that to your work, ask that question. How do I help the people around me be successful? Answer it. And more importantly, act on it. And that's going to separate. We talk about great work culture. That's going to create a great work culture if everybody is helping each other be successful. More importantly, when we find that success, to celebrate it. Mm-hmm. And those are the ta-da moments. And I talk about these extensively in my keynote and in my book. The ta-da moments about celebrating these successes every day, because we need that passion. We need that fuel. And if we don't have it, we're going to be stressed and frustrated and impatient. And it's about celebrating these successes and fueling our passion.
Well, you just inspired me to invent something new. So it's CAC. So it's CAC. it's consistent action and celebrate. I think you need a little CAC in your life.
Wow. Sounds like you have something in your throat. Sounds like my cat just had a cat.
That's exactly right. But we need that. We need consistent action so that we can celebrate, because really that's what it comes down to. I love your tips. They're fantastic. All right. How about a nonprofit cause? I know you're out there watching. You've been with us for a long time now. We love you to pieces. We really want you to put in the comments the cause that's close to your heart, because when you do that and you're kind enough to hit the share button, someone else might be inspired to give time, treasure, or talent to your cause, to the cause Joel shares, or even remember that they have a cause of their own that they love and just inspire them to do something good. If we can inspire someone to take action to do something good today, then we have had a very successful show. So Joel, tell us a cause that you care about.
Well, actually, this is perfect timing, because yesterday I went to the University of Kansas. I'm a proud Jayhawk. And yesterday they gave out the scholarships. And I started 2 scholarships at the University of Kansas. That's one of the best ideas I've ever had. The first scholarship that I started, someone from the Endowment Association, this is years ago, we're having lunch and I'm eating chicken piccata. I love me some chicken piccata. Who doesn't, right? And so it was just at the right time in my life, in my career. And I'd had this in my mind that I wanted to start a scholarship at the journalism school, the William Allen White School of Journalism at the University of Kansas. But I didn't know, sometimes you don't know how to do things, right? You don't have that connection. And one thing led to another, and I'm having a conversation with someone from the university, and she says, what are you going to call your scholarship? And I said, remember, I'm eating chicken piccata. We should call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. And she laughed. And that's all I need. I just need one laugh, Jessica. That's all I need. I just need one laugh.
Oh, no.
And so I said, that's what we're going to call it, the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship, because what I want, my career is successful because of fun and whimsy and silliness and humor. And I want someone to be in a job interview and someone say, so what is the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship that you've won? And I want them to have to answer that.
Explain that.
I want them to have to explain. Are you a chef? Did you create, or did you work at a restaurant? Or did you go to culinary school? Did you, well, I don't understand. And so I don't know why there's a voice, but so it's the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. And funny story, so I decided that I was going to endow a scholarship named, and we're having fun, but it's so rewarding to give back like that. And and it really made me have a connection that I didn't have with the university. And from that, I've spoke at the university several times. I started we did a event for 10 years that brought alumni back to mentor students and make those connections. And so all these things happen by creating this scholarship. And it was really, really one of my absolute best ideas. And I'm so proud that I was able to do that. And so they called me one day, the person I was talking to at lunch, their boss, the top person in charge of scholarships. And they said, we can't call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. and I said, and that's, Jessica, don't ever tell me no like that. Don't, if I have an idea and you shoot it down, that's a bad, because I'm gonna dig my heels in. And I did. And I said, okay, well, we're going to name it that, or I can call the university down the road and see if they want the scholarship. And they said, yep, okay, we're going to call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. And so...
And every time they give it away, everyone laughs. And every time they have to explain it, these people cause people to laugh. So you're not just giving money, you're giving laughter every time it goes.
And they gave that scholarship out yesterday. They had the
and they laughed.
And I'm sure they did. And I'm trying to think how many years it's been since this was probably early 2000s. So maybe since 2010, maybe before that. I need to find out what year they started giving out the scholarship. And then a few years later, when I was at that event that I helped found that brings alumni back, I had an idea to start a scholarship for one of my professors who has since passed away. But I just started the scholarship and then put it out there into the universe, and everybody donated, people from his past students and from the school and from his whole career.
What is his scholarship called?
It's and his wife, we added her name. She's passed away too, but he was there for the first time they gave the scholarship, and then she was there for several years. And it's called the Tom and Jeannie Eblin. Tom was my professor who was a mentor and someone very important in my life. Tom and Jeannie Eblin, in honor of the glorious Red Pen Scholarship. I like to name things. I like to throw it out there.
I knew it had to have a funky name. I was asking for a reason.
Yeah, in honor of the glorious Red Pen, because he was the general manager of the school newspaper, and he would each issue, he would red pen it up and just show every mistake, every problem, and if you had an article in the paper that didn't have red marks, oh, you're flying that day. That was just huge. But it taught you how to improve and to constantly improve and edit and not to rest, think you're the greatest since, journalists since Woodward and Bernstein, and just to keep working, because it's just a constant effort and battle, and you work hard and you will make mistakes and you fix them. And you be better the next time. And so he was a huge influence. And so in that scholarship, once I sent like a couple of emails out, and through his contacts and his career, and as a professor and as a career as a journalist, and that scholarship was endowed within, I think, 30 days, fully endowed. And that scholarship, I think, has gotten so big that I think they sent me the names yesterday. I think like 4 or 5 people received a scholarship so 5 or 6 people yesterday received a scholarship because of those 2 scholarships that I started, which is amazing, just incredible.
So here's the message I'm hearing. So even if you have a cause you care about, one of the other things you could think about doing is start a scholarship for something and get to name it something really wild, right?
Yeah.
So it is something fun that makes people laugh and give money away and make people laugh. What a combo. So hopefully you're all out there inspired of figuring out how you could start for something you love or for people in your community that you care about. That was a wonderful nonprofit share. And now we're going to talk about books. So if you've written a book, put it in the comments. If you've loved a book and it helped inspire your personal life or helped you grow your business, put it in the comments. If you don't read books, tell us about a podcast host you like or something else. But hopefully you read books, and hopefully you love books as much as I do. I'm obsessed. Every kind of book, every form it comes, audio, digital, the old-fashioned way where you can flip the pages and dog ear them and smell the great smell books have. I'm a bit of a freak. I love books. And so today we're going to ask our guest Joel if he had a book that inspired his life or helped his business grow.
I think if I had to choose one, so the person that created improv, her name was Viola Spolin, and she wrote a book called Improv for the Theater. And she was a teacher at NYU, and this is going back to the late 30s, early 40s. So everybody loves an origin story, and that's how improv started. She believed that if you had fun, if you played a game, you kind of take away some of the barriers, and it's easier to learn. And that's really the spirit of improv. Improv is a learning tool. That's how it was created. And she wrote this book, Improv for the Theater. And she taught students who went to Chicago and started a group called the Compass Players. And the Compass Players, people evolved into the Second City. And so anybody who does improv can trace their lineage back to Viola Spolin and this book, Improv for the Theater. And it was, that's the beginning. I would not have a career. I would not be able to share this passion if it wasn't for Viola creating improv at NYU back in the late 1930s, early 1940s. And so it certainly is a huge part of my life. And when I discovered improv, it like I said, it was just a moment that it's what I'm supposed to do. And, sometimes you have those moments where, this is your choice, right? But this is what I'm meant to do. And people have asked me, I didn't know there were speakers. I didn't know there were conferences. And so if I didn't know that those existed, how do I even become a keynote speaker? Like you said, when I'm playing the game, it was firefighter, police officer, or Broadway dancer. I didn't have keynote speaker in there. Didn't have it. Didn't even know it existed. And so I was just focused on Broadway dancing. And so, because I do love a Broadway musical, Jessica.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed.
We should talk about favorite musicals.
Spamalot, Young Frankenstein.
Saw Young Frankenstein on Broadway by myself. Were you by yourself?
No, I had a whole crew. Matter of fact, I inappropriately had my teenagers with me.
Yeah, I was by myself.
It's a little woo-woo in a couple of the parts of the show.
Yeah, I saw Hamilton by myself twice, not once, twice. Yeah, in Chicago because I was speaking and Hamilton was down the road. And so it was chosen. Speaking chose me because I didn't know it existed, and so this is kind of what I'm supposed to do. And so a huge part of that is Viola Spolin in that book, Improv for the Theater, and creating improv for her students and putting it out in the world and it kind of working its way through the generations and me discovering improv.
Yeah, recently, when the world shifted, that Mother's Day was the first time I ever got into a kayak because water was one of the things that was kind of still open for community activity, water activities, because you're pretty separate. And I fell in love and was a little bit angry that I had gone that far in my life and not had the sensation of peace and joy. Literally brought me to tears. And so I'm trying to figure out how. And then recently, about 3 months ago, I had a dream, a very in-depth dream. I'm a very deep dreamer. Like I taste things, I see color, I feel things. I wake up very confused that sometimes something really didn't happen that did happen because my dreams are that in depth. And I had this movie scene play out of not just a fiction novel, but a series of them. And I know exactly what the story is supposed to be. And had you asked me 3 months before the dream, are you going to write a fiction series, Jessica? I would have said, I've got some online courses. I'll probably write something about sales and marketing. I'm writing some children's books with my kids, a few songs I'm publishing, but fiction's not really my thing. And now I am obsessed with getting this story into the world. And if I could figure out how to be completely 100%. And I'm shifting my world around to make that happen, by the way, because it's not if I can figure it out. As I'm figuring out and moving things around in my life, I will be kayaking and fiction novel writing probably the remainder of my days.
I love it.
Sometimes at the same time. So,
why not? Why not?
I'm serious. Like,
why not?
I have my husband adapting a cell phone holder for your car to adjust to clip and hook into my kayak so that I can prop my phone. And I've been on Zoom meetings and networking meetings and in my kayak. I'm not joking.
I love it.
So why shouldn't I be able to just like dictate to my phone while I kayak my fiction novel that I'm writing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think. So stay tuned. Yeah. There'll be more about that in the future. But
okay.
Yeah, I had the same moment when I woke up. I knew, and then I told a few people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have to write that." And then I told someone else, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, you have to write that." So I have to write this. I'm excited about it too. So I know how you feel. Yeah. I also feel like I was, kind of born for this whole podcast hosting thing. I really enjoy it. I love it. Yeah. I get great feedback, and all of you are still watching. So who knew, All right, then. Now it is the red carpet time. We're going to blast trumpets. We're going to blow harmonicas. We're going to play the kazoo and ukulele and share books that you have written about. It's more than one, not just this new one coming. You have some others.
Yes. Well, let's talk about the book coming out November 13th. It's called Make the Right Choice. We talked about choices during this interview. Lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash the fun at work. And it covers all of my messages in greater detail. And each chapter is kind of very, kind of an individual chapter that kind of focuses on one message about staying in the game or being more present in the moment or being a better communicator, being a better teammate, being a better leader, creating that culture that we want to work in and increase our passion and fuel our passion. And, we talk about taking those risks and facing those fears. And that's a big part of what improv is about. And so just like my keynotes, the book is fun. I want it to be engaging. I didn't want it to be a treatise on all these very topics and be, scientific and this is how the elements that teamwork make and find success. It's about, I wanted to have that sense of play in the book that I have in my keynotes and have some fun and be a little silly but talk about these very important choices in a very accessible way, right? I think the book is accessible and fun and engaging so people can kind of take on some of these choices and maybe challenge themselves to make some of these choices to create this passion and be more successful and kind of refuel their energy.
That's awesome.
And it comes out November 13th. Yeah. November 13th, you can pre-order now on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever, Target. I saw, it's everywhere. So just make the right choice, lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash the fun at work. And please pre-order, and I would hope you enjoy the book.
Do you have other books you've written, or is this your main book?
So this is actually the second edition of Make the Right Choice. And it's really a brand new book. It's 5 new chapters, and each chapter has been rewritten and revised and more ideas and more stories. Mm-hmm. And so and then we changed the new cover and then we changed the subhead. This is the second edition of Make the Right Choice.
Is there any other books on the horizon for you?
Sure, I would love to. Remember when I told you I was a journalist, and so I need a deadline. And so if I don't have a deadline, I'm not out in a kayak writing books, like you are, and you've got all these things happening, and you're on a kayak, you're working in a kayak, you're making it happen. Someone needs to say, Joel, write a book by December 1st, and I can do that. I hope so.
What other topics do you think you might touch on?
I want to share, by speaking at 2,500 events, I see so many awesome ideas, culture. I see all these awesome cultures, corporate cultures, and ideas, and amazing CEOs, and I'd like to share some of those ideas and some of the things that I've maybe interview some of those people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you should go back to all your past venues and if you can't get quotes or interviews or pieces from them and incorporate it into an amazing book.
Yeah, because usually the companies that have terrible corporate cultures do not hire me as a speaker.
Right.
They don't say, let's bring Joel in and have some fun with our team. Mm-mm. Now it does happen. And I walk out, I'm like, yikes. Sell stock in that company.
In that book, though, as you rediscover and share all of your highlights from your companies you were featured at and where you keynote spoke or where you did workshops, you could also then help describe the journey of a speaker who wants to work with corporations and some of the nuances of how to achieve that and have this kind of success, because there's a lot of speakers out there and some of them are talking to themselves in the mirror. They're not on the stage doing what they love and what they believe they're good at, because they need a little more, right? Like you talked about, they need to learn something else. And so maybe you could bring some of that interwoven in the book as you go back and rediscover the journey of these people. And your deadline is December 1st. So.
It's December 1st. and if you can write it while kayaking, that'd be great.
And you can write it while kayaking.
You can do it. Why not? Why can't you? There's no rules. There's no rules. I'm very fortunate, Jessica, and I'm very lucky that I get to share my passion and have fun and play these improv games. And as my wife says, she said this many times, she says, you really only want to do two things in life. You want to make people laugh and you want to tell people what you think. And she goes, and somehow you figured out how to have a career doing those two things. And
does she come with you to Hawaii?
She is not. No. We have a senior in high school, and it's homecoming, and so she would miss the homecoming parade and the homecoming game, and one of his baseball games, and so no, I'm going solo, but I'll make do, Jessica. I think I'll be all right. I'm gonna make.
Except for
I'm toughen up.
I'm coming from a wife's perspective and feeling a little bit of green jealousy there that she can't climb in your suitcase and tag along.
Yeah, I know, but there'll be other opportunities, and so I'm just very fortunate, and I love what I do. It's very rewarding and fulfilling to get to share my love of improv and what improv taught me and what it can help others find that success or be a better communicator or a better leader or a better teammate. And whether I'm sharing it in my keynote or sharing it in this book, Make the Right Choice, it's just, I'm very, very fortunate.
Well, it's been a lot of fun having you on the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know you out there watching have had some fun. And if you're an author and you're thinking, wait, I can improve someone's personal life, I can grow someone's business, maybe you can even help with their culture. Who knows? It's okay. There's plenty of room. Joel doesn't mind. It's all about everyone winning and everyone succeeding. So if you can do some of those magical things too, maybe you even have your own magical ukulele. Joel brought his magical harmonica. We just don't know. Come and get on the show. Reach out and we'll let you know how. But before we say goodbye and wrap this up completely, we're going to ask Joel to share one final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we close out today.
We mentioned it briefly, but I want to focus on it. I love that we get this opportunity, is the celebration, the ta-da moment. When we're little kids, everything's a ta-da. You said you had 7 kids. I've got 2 because I know how to get to the drugstore. Did you get that joke?
Yes, I did. We always say we just don't like TV.
Yeah. Well, do you guys like slaughter a cow out back to feed everybody? I mean, Is they're like, it's like once a week we just bring it, we buy a whole cow and we slaughter it in the back.
Yeah, that's too messy for me. No.
It is. So we had 2 kids, and so everything's a ta-da when they're little, right?
Mm-hmm.
They eat a cheese sandwich, we're like, ta-da! We celebrate that. They walk, they eat, they use a spoon. We're like, ta-da! You used a spoon. You held your bottle. Whatever.
Well, I have a ta-da story. So we walk. We're in Solomon's Island, Maryland. We walk the island. We walk the boardwalk, and there's this one spot where there's this metal railing. That's all there was just the metal railing, but there was nothing underneath it. So she would hold on to the pole, spin around, and go under it. When she was so short, she fit under it, and she would end up holding onto the pole. We have a picture of her with her ta-da, and she would say it every time.
Yeah, and when you celebrate. Right? What do? They build confidence. When you ta-da, they build confidence. They do more of whatever we're celebrating. Mm-hmm. And then as we get older, we still have these moments at work. For every day, we have these moments. We do great things for our team, for our customers, for our partners, for our vendors. We don't celebrate. We just like, well, that's our day to day. That's what we're supposed to do. But these are great things. These are big moments. You're helping people. You're supporting people. You're doing great things. We need to celebrate them like when we were little kids. Have these ta-da moments because they fuel us. And that fuel increases our passion and it energizes us and we become more creative and a better communicator. It's about celebrating these ta-da moments. And every person that's listening, every person that's watching is going to do something great today or has already done something great today. And they need to just throw it out there, a huge ta-da, and celebrate that moment. And it's going to make them feel great. And it's going to create that confidence and that energy. And it's don't forget to celebrate these huge ta-da moments.
I love that. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
We're going to do lots of ta-das because we just had a great show.
Yes. Yeah. And I hope people, and there's lots of video and more information on my website, www.joelzeff.com, or reach out on LinkedIn. And I'm on Facebook too. And I have a plan, Jessica, to start an Instagram page. It's a plan. It's really in its beginning stages, but there's a plan.
You're so behind the ball. You're just starting Instagram, and I'm just starting TikTok. So you'll have to see my ta-da moments on TikTok as we begin to grow that platform as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so. This has been a great show. Thank you for being here today, Joel. We are going to close out. I'm your host, as always, Jessica Koch. We'll come back with some more profound professionals, more industry experts that can improve your personal life or grow your business. But until next time, be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.